It is a huge honor for me today to be podcast interviewing Jim Palmer. And Jim is dentist. He's a business coach and works with a lot of dentists on powerful retention and profit boosting strategies. You can find more of his information on www.getjimpalmer.com. Get, G-E-T, Jim, J-I-M, Palmer, P-A-L-M-E-R. Is that spelled the same way as the golfing legend, Arnold Palmer?
Well, Arnold, yeah, but Jim Palmer was the baseball player for the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, so Jim Palmer is a famous baseball player and the Arnold Palmer drink. Jim Palmer is a marketing and business building expert and in-demand coach. He is the founder of the Dream Business Academy and Dream Business Coaching and Mastermind program. Jim is the host of Dream Biz TV, the hit weekly web TV show watched by thousands of entrepreneurs and small business owners. He is also the host Stick Like Glue Radio, a weekly podcast based on Jim's unique brand of smart marketing and business building strategies. Jim is best known internationally as the newsletter guru and creator of the No Hassle newsletters, the ultimate done-for-you newsletter marketing program used by hundreds of clients in 9 countries. Jim, I just want to start off with, you're probably used to working with lots of business owners and entrepreneurs, but us dentists, we went to school because we like math and physics and chemistry and biology, and we're doing, we're microsurgeons. We're all of dentistry is hands-on surgery all day long, and at the end of the day, they're exhausted, and then they got to realize that, like taxes are due. We're supposed to have overhead and payroll and all. How is it harder for you when you're working with entrepreneurs in so many different sectors to work with dentists?
No, not at all. I mean, I work with entrepreneurs, small business owners all over the spectrum. I work with several dentists, orthodontists, dentists, naturopaths, chiropractors, carpet cleaners. Here's the thing. When somebody starts a business, right, they take their skill, their talent, whether it's a natural skill or a learned skill through going to dental school or whatever, and then that's how they start their business. So the deliverable, if you will, Howard, is the dental services. And again, whether you're a carpet cleaner or an accountant or whatever, that's your skill, and you sort of start generating revenue, hopefully, but you reach a certain point and then you realize, well, crap, people are not flocking to my doors, right? And the number one reason is you're good at what you do. You could even be the best at what you do, but if you don't understand marketing and how to attract a starving, hungry crowd, so to speak, you're only going to achieve a certain level of success. So being the best dentist is not what's going to drive your business.
So if I go up to any of my homies and say, "What are you?" They just look at me and they go, I'm a dentist. They never say, "I'm a business person. I'm a small business. We do $500,000 a year. I got 10 employees. I'm a leader, business, finance." And if I ask them their numbers, like how many new patients, if I ask them any business metrics, they 9 times out of 10 can't answer more than 1 or 2 basic stats. Like they'll tell you revenue.
Well, and see, if you ask the average person in any industry, dental included, you are going to get average results, right? So here we are, as you and I are doing this, we're kind of in an election mode. So a lot of times you hear this, oh, the top 1% or whatever. It's always thrown around. If you talk about the top 1%, even within the dental industry or practice or field, however you want to refer to it, Howard, there are going to be certain people who are crushing it, like doing $2, $3, $4, $5, $10 million practices. That is quite the exception, right? I think most people probably feel good about doing $500,000 a year, or they hit $1 million a year. I mean, they're probably a rock star in their own local community. But the thing is, the people that are who are achieving the top 1%, that are just killing it, they are doing things differently. They realize their number one job is to be the marketer of their dental practice. Their job is to find a way to stand out amongst the very, very crowded field. You look old enough to remember this thing called the Yellow Pages, right?
Absolutely.
And so whether it's the Yellow Pages or somebody goes, I have no idea what that is. If you go to Google and you type in dentist near me, you're probably going to come up, unless you're in a very, very small town in Wyoming, you're going to come up with 20, 30, 50, 100 other people. So how do you stand out? You say, well, we clean teeth whiter than anybody. I mean, we're very, very good at cleaning teeth. We get you in and out faster. That's all skill-based. People are attracted to the perceived expert in the field. They want to do business with the person that they believe are the best at what they do. I'll give you, for example, when 2001, I was diagnosed with melanoma. Had never heard the term before, but I love to sun myself and have that healthy glow. Well, I did that all my life, and then I got melanoma. Well, I didn't just go to a surgeon like down at the local hospital and say, hey, take this thing out. I did everything I could within like a 2 to 3 week period to research who's the best melanoma surgeon in Philadelphia market, which is where I live. And I found that guy. A couple of years ago, my wife Stephanie broke her ankle on the ice in the winter, and it was a spiral fracture, Howard. So it wasn't just a clean break. It was like the bone spiraled, you know? And so that's major surgery with pins and plates. I didn't just go to a local orthopedist. Who's the best guy that does spiral fractures? And that's who we went to. And I think by and large, people choose who they do business with based on who the perceived expert is in that field.
Well, I'm born and raised in Kansas, so I just go to my vet.
You go to your vet for everything.
He knows everything. Cash under the table.
There you go.
So the bottom line is, how can they make the migration from I'm a dentist and I learn all about my root canals, fillings, and crowns? How do you migrate from that to being an entrepreneur or business person? What would you recommend?
Well, it is a mindset. I'm glad you said entrepreneur small, because when I do a lot of interviews, I've written 6 books, and so I say entrepreneurs or small business owners. People go, aren't they the same? They're not the same. A small business owner is somebody who focuses largely on driving their business through more sales. I sell more. So if you're a dentist, we got to get more in the we got to do more cleans, more filling, more all the other restorative stuff like that. So it's all kind of sales based. An entrepreneur is somebody who thinks more about how do I create more wealth, how do I create more security for myself, and that's where I know we talk about multiple streams of revenue and things like that. A small business owner has a mindset that's solely focused on selling more of the goods or services that they offer. So if you're a dentist, since we're talking dentist, let's say you have an office and you have 3 chairs, and eventually you grow and you even take on a couple assistants or colleagues, whatever terminology you want to use. And then, but there comes to be a point where you will max out the capabilities of that office. So as a small business owner type mindset, you're going to, well, we need to open another office or knock down a wall and rent more space or whatever that looks like. So it's more of that. An entrepreneur says, how can I create more revenue and create more wealth for myself? What other things can I do to generate more revenue? Does that answer that question, by the way?
Yeah.
So, I'll give you an example of somebody who there's additional revenue streams, but it still falls under the dental field. So one of my current clients is a dentist, and when I looked at his website, it just keeps spiraling pictures and happy people with bright shiny teeth, but it also says that he does so many things, including, going off my memory now, like veneers, implants, sedation, sleep apnea, TMJ, whitening, all these different things. And as a marketer, when I see something like that, that means I'm a generalist. I can do it all. Now, that may not be a generalist in some discussions within the dental field, but if to the customer or the patient says, wow, he does it all, which means he's a specialty in none. That's kind of a leap that they make. So there's 2 ways to combat that. Number one, you should pick the 1 or 2 things that are probably going to make you the most amount of profit, have the greatest growth potential, and have the most amount of people searching for that. And we can certainly find that out just from Google Analytics and things like that. But the other thing that they can do, because I believe all of these things are good profit centers, but when somebody searches for that, it should come up and say sleep apnea dash the name of your town. And when they go there, it shouldn't be a website that lists 20 different services. It should be about sleep apnea. This is the dentist. This is why I specialize in it. So it's an immediate connection is made. And they say, oh, this is what I want. You shouldn't, people will not click and click and click and click to find what they want. So, a lot of people say, well, I just want to do one website. Well, okay, if you just want to do one, you're going to probably lose some people because they're not going to find out exactly what you want them to find. But if you invest in different websites or just lander pages which speak exactly to the specialty that people are searching for, that's going to be a way that you're going to have more people calling your practice.
So if a mom is in town and she wants to find a dentist for her kids, you should have a separate website for children's dentistry, and then a mom searching for cosmetic makeover for herself. Used to have like a different cosmetic site. So you're recommending multiple websites?
Well, I want to correct my language. Multiple websites, but lander pages. So a website is one. You've got to get the home, the contact, about me. You get a lot of different pages. A lander is a single page which speaks exactly to what it is that you're doing. So let me ask you this, Howard. I'm sure you've been in Google and searched for information on something, right? Can you think of something even in the last 48 hours that you wanted to get information on?
Russian mail order brides.
Okay, I like you.
I'm
Okay,
just
so
kidding.
you went to
No.
Russian?
My deal is like Dennis will say, what do you think about this dental company? So I mostly all my search are dental, and what I'm mostly amazed with is that when they'll say, what do you think of this product? And it'll be a dental company, and I'll go to that company, and I can't even find a human's name. I don't even see a
Right.
face.
There's
And
no
you
address.
know what's bizarre about the addresses? Nobody puts their country. So when it's in Europe or India, I have to drop that fragment of the address and Google Maps and then back out of Google Maps just to even see what damn country there is. And I never see a human. And I always think, how can I build a relationship with you selling you my hottest root canal product if I'm not even telling you who I am and what country I'm in? It's really bizarre.
I tell all of my clients, because a lot of times I work with virtual people, coaches and things like that. I said, I don't care if you go to the post office or go to UPS, but you got to get a physical mailing address. So people want to mail you things. I get cards and things like that, but they want to know that there's a physical address, even if it is a PO box, because it just goes to help build credibility. So first of all, let's say you went to Google though, and you typed in Russian mail order bride, and the whole page filled up, and you clicked on the first website, and it was a company that did all kinds of things, but one of the things they did was Russian mail order brides. It wasn't on page one, so you're going, well, I don't see it here. It must be here somewhere. How about other options? Are you going to look for it? Are you going to hit the back arrow and go to another one which says, oh, Russian mail order brides, just what you're looking for, in other words? That's what you want to do. Now, a website is kind of like a virtual business card. A lander page speaks exactly. It makes the instant connection because people in less than 2 seconds will determine when they hit that website or lander page if this is where I want to be. And so one size doesn't fit all. One thing cannot do all the heavy lifting.
So you're recommending that a dentist has an existing website that she should go back and build lander pages for the things that she's most passionate about or has great growth potential, etc.
Exactly. And by the way, it doesn't have to be multiple like URLs. It could be, for example, abcdentistry.com/implants/whitening. The whole thing is, if somebody goes to Google and they say, oh, here's somebody that's like an expert in teeth whitening in my hometown, they click it. The minute they hit that page, it needs to say, we are here, the sky's part, da-da! This is it. Whitening my town, this is the dentist, there's the friendly smile, here's how to get connected. I mean, it's a very simple walk-through connection.
Is that if you only had to choose one marketing tactic, what would you choose?
Okay, so my mom told me to be very, very nice, especially to the people that are interviewing me. So, that question in and of itself, I'm just teasing with you, Howard, but that question in and of itself, and I will answer it, it says that I've got to try and find the shortcut because I don't want to do everything that's necessary. That's just the plain facts of it. I teach something called my $1 Million Platform. There's video, there's podcasting, article marketing, social media, speeches, authoring a book, doing interviews. All of these things build your credibility. Now, here's the thing. One of the things I'm sure, as a smart marketer yourself, is you need to have an avatar. Who is the perfect client or patient that I'm trying to reach? Now, let's say as a dentist, maybe you're not focused on the kids market. You're trying to reach people that are, let's say, 30 to 55. I'm just making this up. 30 to 55, half male, half female, professionals, homeowners. You whittle down, this is who my perfect patient is. Even if you get that exact profile and you start marketing towards those people that fit all the parameters, they all consume information differently. If somebody wants to read a book, well, do they want a paperback book? Do they want to read a Kindle? Are they going to read an ebook on their computer? Do they want to listen to audiobook? That's like 4 versions of say I like the information on books. Some people like to watch videos and just be kind of told and led down the path. Some people like to watch videos like we're doing in an interview so they can kind of see us and not just hear us. Some people like podcasting. So everybody consumes information. Everybody takes in content differently. So therefore, doing just one thing is not a good answer. But if I had to take away everything, I would still do video. I've been doing videos for 6 years every single week. And I built quite an audience. On average, about 1,500 small business owners watch my videos every week because I've been doing it consistently week in and week out.
And those are all on getjimpalmer.com?
That's where you can find them. I have a website called dreambizcoach.tv. I have a YouTube channel with like 7,000 plus subscribers.
What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Well, you go to YouTube, I believe it's /Newsletter Guru.
Newsletter Guru?
Yeah.
And do you flew through those real fast. You said you used to have a book, a video, podcast, blogging. What all did you say?
Article marketing, social media, interviews, doing presentations, giving speeches. If you're a coach or even a dentist, I've known people do their own live events, like a seminar. You could put a seminar on for 10 or 15 people and teach something, and then you could actually make an offer at the end, for example, for something, like implants. I mean, an implant, from what I'm learning now from my clients, it's not something they say, oh yeah, I need that, sign me up. It's probably like 20, 25 grand, right? So that's something, there's got to be an education, maybe a 45-minute seminar, what it's all about, what's entailed, and then you can make an offer. So all of the, I do on average about 100 interviews like I'm doing with you now every single year. I'm out speaking, I'm doing my own live events. As I said, I'm doing my own podcast, videos, etc. I've written 6 books in 6 years. All of it is a lot of work. I'd rather not have to do that. Man, if I could just do a video a week and still have the business I have, I would do it in a heartbeat. It's just not that easy.
But did I hear you right that you said as of like right now, 2016, of all those things you listed, video is the hottest?
Yes.
That sounds kind of weird if your website says the Newsletter Guru. So I think of a newsletter as a dentist who maybe every quarter sends out a little. What I used to do is sheet of paper folded as 4 sides. So a 4-sided newsletter, you might talk about 4 or 5 different things in dentistry. That would be a newsletter to everyone in my zip code,
Right.
85044. But you're saying the Newsletter Guru is saying that video is actually hotter than a newsletter.
Well, you're going to prove my point. First of all, so by the way, I would tell people to mail a newsletter every month, not quarterly, because if you think of things that come to your mailbox, and I'm talking the mailbox end of your driveway, not your email inbox, those things arrive, whether they're your bills, your mortgage, your boating magazine, your hiking, whatever you're into, those things come monthly. So you want the newsletter to come monthly and have a higher perceived value. But what I'm doing, and by the way, I do send a newsletter out to my paying clients. I'm talking about prospecting. In the world of prospecting, people have to get to know you. People make decisions on who they're going to hire and work with based on trust. So if you think about when I started business 15 years ago, a big thing was writing articles and submitting articles so people saw those. Then next thing, they had audio. You could actually have your voice show up on your website. There was a little arrow, click here for a message from Jim, and they'd hear your audio. But then when video came around, and you don't even need a camera, you can shoot a video on your iPhone, for heaven's sakes, in high def. Now people can see us. They can see what you look like. They can, not hear your voice and things like that. You make a huge connection. But doing videos sporadically is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a weekly video, something 2 minutes or less, where you share a tip, share something engaging, and help people get to know who you are.
Now, if you were so I know what my homies are thinking. Number one, go through what actually is a newsletter mailed to the post office box. I mean, is it one sheet of paper, both sides? Is it folded in 4 sides? Number two, if you're a dentist in Russell, Kansas, do you just mail that newsletter to all your patients in Russell, Kansas, or which dentists call internal marketing, or do you mail it to everybody in Russell, Kansas? So if you are my patient, it's internal marketing, but if you're the next door neighbor who's not, it's external marketing. Can you address all those?
It is internal marketing and it's external marketing. So yes, Remember, I spoke earlier about the perfect avatar. So let's say you have a dental practice for 10 years, 5 years, doesn't matter. You got 300 patients. You're mailing every one of those patients a newsletter every single month. So you're staying top of mind, building awareness, probably generating more referrals because you're staying top of mind. But if you want to grow your practice, what you can do is say, I used to be in retail, Howard, so I know that the average trading area for most service-based businesses is 5 miles generally, okay? So might be more in, the Midwest or whatever, but 5 mile circle. So what you can do is you can go to a list broker and say, I would like the names and addresses for everybody that fits this exact profile, just like I ticked off before. And they will give you those. Well, usually about 10 cents a piece on average. And then you can start mailing that newsletter to prospective patients. And it absolutely works. So there's some top of mind awareness. But then again, we come back to only the one thing. I wouldn't just mail them a newsletter. I would have somebody follow up with them with a phone call. And the phone call may be the first one. Hey, this is, Dr. Smith's office. We started sending you a free subscription to our newsletter. Just wanted to make sure you're receiving it. Oh, I was wondering about that. Yeah, well, I know your neighbor and a bunch of other people in your neighborhood are coming here. We thought you'd, like to receive the newsletter and blah, blah, blah. And then you hang up. So it's not even asking for a sale or anything. You're just building awareness. And then, you can continue down that road.
And then the videos, these go on your website, or do you think the dentist should have a YouTube channel?
They should do both. They should do all of the above. YouTube channel. So when I do a video, so I shoot my video, I give it to some person on my team, and that person, first of all, blasts it out to YouTube, Vimeo, all the other video channels. But YouTube's the granddaddy of them all.
What was the second one you said? Vimeo?
Vimeo, Vimeo.
What is that?
It's a YouTube style channel where videos are.
Okay.
Right. So there's a lot of video sites, but YouTube is clearly the granddaddy. And then we put it on my website, my dreambusinesscoach.tv website, which is basically a blog, but it's a video blog. And then we also upload that video to Facebook. And we don't just put a link on Facebook where it plays on YouTube. We actually upload the video right into Facebook, just like you would attach a picture. And therefore, if you ever scroll in the newsfeed, you see people's videos, those are embedded in YouTube. That's what you want. So you're hitting.
And anybody can do that, or do you have to pay Facebook to do that?
No, anybody can do that.
Can you explain that again? That was pretty complex.
So no, it's actually pretty easy. If you've ever gone to Facebook and you say, hey, I have a ham sandwich today, you just post and you hit post, and boy, it says that. But if you took a picture of your ham sandwich, when you say, hey, I had a sandwich, the little link there with the camera, it shows a little camera icon. You click that, and it'll, just like you're attaching something to an email, it'll grab that picture and put it up on YouTube. So Facebook. So that's a picture, but you can do that with a video. Same thing, you click the camera, but instead of grabbing a JPEG or whatever that picture is, you grab your MP4 video, and it'll upload it right into YouTube. You'll see it go, little thing fills up, and then it'll start playing.
Huh, that's news to me. That's interesting.
Well, here's the thing. Facebook doesn't like you going to YouTube. They want to keep you on Facebook. That's why I'm saying upload it to Facebook, because you're now watching and consuming more information while staying on Facebook's platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So continue. I feel like I keep interrupting.
Well, we're having a lot of fun. What else do you want to know?
You're also known for talking about you started off saying that a small businessman really she's just trying to do marketing to get more customers, to sell more dentistry, or if she carpet cleaner, just basically just marketing, getting more business. But you said an entrepreneur is different, and that they want to create wealth, and the first thing you said is that if you're creating wealth, you should have multiple streams of revenue, or
right,
multiple streams of income. So you're talking to thousands of dentists. Most of them are young. How does a young dentist create multiple streams of income and revenue?
Well, so you said, I heard you talk about customers and sales. So let me tell you what a small business owner likes to get a customer so they can make a sale. An entrepreneur wants to make a sale to get a customer, because once you have a customer, that's an asset. Every powerful relationship in a business is built on customer relationships, or insert the word patient. But basically, once you've established trust, someone says, I trust you, I find value in the service you're providing, I'm going to use you. Well, that becomes a customer, and that becomes the initial transaction. Your job as a dentist or accountant or whoever you are is to maximize the profitability of each and every relationship you have. So the first thing I would do if I'm a young dentist and I want to grow my business faster, I say something like this. I said, if I stood you in a hallway and there's two doors, and inside one door is 100 of your current patients, and in the door on the right has 100 people who have no idea who you are, and I'm going to give you 10 minutes to go in and sell teeth whitening, which door would you rather go in? I mean, it's kind of obvious. People who already know, like, and trust you, you're going to make more sales than if you have to explain who you are, right? So it's always about repeat business. It's always about doing more. So if you want to sell more of your goods and services, Howard, the very first people you go to are the people who already have purchased from you, and those are your current customers, in this case, your current patients. So I'm going to give you kind of a visual. Let's say so as I talk about retention and generating more sales from your current customers, I'm a very visual person. So let's say you open up an Excel spreadsheet on your computer. Down the left-hand column, you just write the names of every patient you have. And the columns moving over this way might be teeth whitening, or it just lists all the different services you have. And then what I want you to do is either put a check mark or a color in the box or whatever next to each patient's name, and see how many of the things that you offer they avail themselves of, okay? I guarantee 95% of the people listening to us right now are going to be able to color in 6-month checkup. That's it. And then, oh yeah, we had 20 people come in for Invisalign. We had 10 people came in for whitening or auxiliaries, whatever those services are. But what you got to realize is each person's name there, that's an asset. I mean, it's almost like you own that asset. So why am I not making sure that Joe Smith or Connie Parker, why shouldn't I be marketing our teeth whitening services or our implants or all the other things we do in the form of a newsletter, for one thing? If you're going to ask me how do you do that, well, a newsletter would be a great way to do that. But you could also be emailing them. You could be focusing on videos. Hey, did you ever wonder what Invisalign is? Is it really something applied to your teeth? Let me show you in a quick step. Boom, you show up a picture. This is what it is. We install it in less than an hour, blah, 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 blah. In about 3 to 5 minutes, you could shoot an incredible video. I would name the video, if you want to get it seen, by how you would search it. So Invisalign, comma Hartford, Connecticut, or whatever it is. And so get that video. When somebody in Hartford, Connecticut searches Invisalign, dentist, Hartford, Connecticut, there's a good chance your video could come up and they could watch you and they could see you explain it. And then they click on your website and go, oh my gosh, that guy's 3 miles from me, or you know what I mean? That's how you do that.
So why do you think some businesses retain customers better than other? And you've worked with dentists. Why do you think some dentists, after they've been practicing 20, 30, 40 years, still need new patients when they're in a small town of Russell, Kansas, that's hardly having any growth or changeover, and they're still needing new patients 20, 30, 40 years later? What are some common reasons some businesses retain customers better than others?
Can I be very, very candid on your show?
It's Dentistry Uncensored. You can use profanity.
No, I won't do that, but they're lazy and they don't give a damn. Well, maybe they give a damn, but they don't want to do anything about it. There's enough people coming in the door every month to replace the outflow that doesn't come back. So somehow their mortgage is still getting paid. They're not losing meals. They're not having their car repossessed. It's kind of like the bear or lion with a thorn in his paw. It hurts, but it doesn't hurt bad enough for me to get up and do something about it. The other thing, and this is across the board, not just with dentists, but with almost everybody, if you're going to take your business from where it is to the next level, you have to make an investment. And I don't simply mean building a website for $3,000. You probably got to put up a good chunk of change if you want to drive traffic to that website. So there's an upfront cost. And I think when somebody opens up their own practice, and you would tell me the numbers, but they have to invest in the tools and the chairs and the lights and the x-ray machine. I mean, it must be an ungodly amount of money they have to put in up front. So then they get over that. Maybe they're paid it down, loans, things are rolled along, but wait, you mean I got to spend like 10 grand or 15? I'm just throwing that number out. That's not an accurate number, but marketing is an investment. And if it pays off and it brings in new patients, then the new revenue that comes in your practice should far exceed the investment you're making. But so much of marketing is an unknown. And so people, I'm not going to spend that. Are you going to guarantee me it's going to work? Well, no marketer with a conscience is going to guarantee it because, there's some testing involved. But that's what it is, Howard. They're not in enough pain to where they want to do what they need to do. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to share a quick story with you. One of my coaching clients is a naturopath, a female doctor in Canada. Doing okay, doing all right. Again, never missed a mortgage payment, haven't skipped a meal or anything like that, but she's been at this mark and she hasn't been able to get there. She came in my program and she said, Jim, I'm coming clean with myself. I've been a bag of excuses as to why I'm not growing. And she invested in my program, said, I will do whatever you tell me to do. And her business today is growing by like 20 to 30% every single month. And you know why? You know what she didn't ask me? She goes, what's the one thing I can do? We helped her publish a book. She's doing a podcast. She does videos. She posts to her blog. She's out speaking. She's doing all of it. And now when customers come into her place, it's like meeting a celebrity. It's like meeting somebody you see on TV all the time. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? And so we have a website for her practice. We have a website for her. It's like her personality site. Here's who I am. You can hear interviews of me. Here's my books. So it's actually helping turn her into a celebrity.
And what specifically, what is your program and which website is that? You have getjimpalmer.com. You have dreambiztv.com. Which one?
If you go to, there's a lot of, the specific answer to your question is Dream Biz Coaching, dreambizcoaching.com. But if you go to Get Jim Palmer, all of that stuff is available. You'll see like little boxes for all of that stuff. But Dream Biz Coaching is the coaching program that I'm referring to.
And what is the program that this naturopath did? How much does it cost? Is it something you go somewhere? Is it online? Talk about your program.
It's a virtual program, and there is a live event component to it, and it's called Dream Business Academy. And but the coaching program that she and a lot of other people are part of is called my VIP coaching program. It's currently $19.97 a month, and that includes a lot of done for you. So it's not simply coaching and me saying, "Hey, go do this." In VIP, my team and I actually create websites. We help you get your book done. We actually do a lot of this for you.
So you build websites?
We do.
When you look at the average dental website, are you impressed, not impressed? What are your thoughts on the average dental website?
I'm sorry to say I'm not impressed, and here's why. Because they will typically go to a website company who doesn't understand online marketing. So some designers are designers because they want to create and maybe win beautiful contests for design. I'm all about driving more traffic and getting more conversions so you can get more patients. You know what? So this doctor, she said to me one time, "Hey, Jim, one of my new patients said, I almost didn't come to you because the new website looks too markety," if he uses that word. And he goes, but then I listened to you, but when I saw your videos and saw you were just a very humble, quiet person, I said, that's who I want to go see. So the website almost made him go, ooh, you know what I mean? But it got him to watch the videos and listen to the podcast and all of that, just like I said, like when we started talking, Howard, all of those things came together. And this guy said, this is who I want to help me lose weight and get healthy again.
So my homies right now, probably 85% of them are driving to work. We do an hour program because that's their commute. They all tell me, and this show's really gone viral. She's driving to work right now, and she's thinking about her website. When she probably gets to work, she's going to go and look at her website. She's trained in root canals. So she logs on her website. What should she be seeing? I mean, try to pay, because you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. So talk specifically to her so she can pull up to her dental office, go to her website. My website's todaysdental.com. What should she be looking for? What are red flags that it was built by a fancy designer and not an online marketer driving traffic to her dental office?
One of the websites that I was looking at recently, I'm not going to talk about that just in case. There's a lot of people. I don't want to call anybody out. But I think people try to get too cute by a half, as the old expression is. So there's like different
Too cute
colors.
by a half?
Too cute by a half means I'm going to come up with a name which means something to me, and people will know something about who I am based on the name. And that's giving the busy people who are searching for information way too much credit. I'm going to give you an example outside of the dental field, just in case some of my dental clients are listening, because I don't want to embarrass anybody. So I have a client came on 6 months ago. He's a carpet cleaner, been doing it for 25 years, but he hasn't gotten quite above the six-figure mark. So he's in that space. I'm making enough money. I'm not losing, meals, but darn it, I can't get to the next level. The name of his carpet cleaning company was, let me think if I can remember this. It was, I could be wrong. I think it was Cleaning with Pride. And here's a guy who takes immense pride in how it, but what, so I'm going to ask you, so the name of the carpet cleaning company was Cleaning with Pride. Do you see the first thing wrong with that name?
Yeah, I mean, is it a dental cleaning, carpet cleaning? I mean,
It doesn't say carpet in it.
yeah, yeah.
So I said, listen, I can help you, but you're gonna have to suck it up and breathe deep. We're gonna change your name. I've been this way for 25 years, but look where you are. If you want to grow, we completely changed his name, rebranded him, new truck lettering, everything. And the name of his company is First Choice Carpet Cleaners, which, by the way, is a kick butt name. So if somebody's looking for carpet cleaners, First Choice Carpet Cleaners. I mean, that's it. So we completely rebranded his company. So it really is about what are things, how are your patients and prospective patients, how are they searching for you, right? It's not about, drdawn.com. If somebody's like that, because, well, is Dr. Dawn a dentist, a chiropractor? Is she an orthopedist? It's got to have a name which very clearly says who you are, what you do, possibly where you're located.
And I've also noticed, so many people have all these initials after their name, like in dentists they'll say DDS, MAGD, D. That didn't mean anything to a consumer.
That's an ego stroke. It means nothing. I call it alphabet soup. You know why? Because the average patient has no clue what it means.
I know you look for, yeah. I mean, and everybody's got them now, and it's like it doesn't mean anything to me outside of dentistry.
Now, I work with some financial planners also, and they're the worst. They got names this long. Well, here on the radio, I'm saying they're like 12, 13 letters. Nobody knows what that is. And by the way, nobody cares.
I want to ask another specific question. I know. Every time anybody does a study of Americans about what are they looking for in dentistry, half of them are more poor. Half of them, they say it's just price. I'm going to go where my insurance or Medicaid or Medi-Cal or Denti-Cal goes, and half buy on market differentiation. I want someone for bleaching, veneers, whatever. But in going to the poor half that are shopping on price, a lot of dentists are saying, well, I'm afraid if I say I'm budget dental or cheap dental or low cost dental, that they're going to think that my dentistry is cheap. Are there any fancier terms? Because a lot of people, I mean, like I'm in Phoenix, half the people searching is worried about money. When I tell someone they need a root canal, they don't say, oh, I don't believe you. They say, God, right. How much is that? So exactly. What are positive search words for lower cost, cheap, budget, or should you just avoid that part of the market?
I don't. Well, first of all, I understand the insurance route. I mean, I have insurance. I'm not going to go to somebody not in my insurance, but within there are still many choices, right? I am not somebody who prescribes to being the cheapest. So let me ask you this. This is kind of an interesting way to look at it. Would you rather have 4 quarters or 100 pennies? Because in reality, you have exactly the same amount of money, but you're going to have to work, like, let's say you had 100 patients or you had 4 patients and you made the same amount of money. Which would you rather have? I'd rather have 4 patients and work 1 day a week. Now, I'm being somewhat silly, but you see what I'm saying? If you're only going for price, you're going to be constantly, first of all, not making enough margin, constant turnover and things like that. People will spend money. There's a certain segment of the population that wants to have the best. There's the big middle where they'll kind of go anywhere, somebody's average, good price, whatever. And then there's the people who only afford the lowest. You do not want to market, in all due respect, to that segment of the population because you're going to be frustrated forever. So if anybody's listening to this show, my guess is that's not where they want to be. So you just have to make a decision. That's not where I'm going to be. And that's more indication of why you need to upgrade your marketing and become known as the go-to person for 1, 2, or 3 certain specialties where people are more concerned with the result and being seen by, oh my gosh, I go to Dr. Howard. Who do you go to? Oh, I don't ever heard of him. You know, there's that whole celebrity factor. So for me, I'd much rather work with 4 people paying me a lot of money than 50 people paying me just what everybody else is getting paid.
And did you say percentages for each one of those? High end, middle, low.
Well, I can't speak to that in the dental field, but I'm saying in general. See, I'm a big fan of 3 different packages. So, you know, I have 3 different coaching practices or coaching levels, and I teach other people to have 3 different. One of the naturopaths I work with has 3 different packages, and if a patient comes in, that what I'm going to call the big middle, most of the people are going to be somewhere in the middle. I don't want to have the cheapest, but I can't afford the best, so I'm going to fall right here. But there's always going to be a certain segment of the population. I don't care where you live or what the economy is doing. There's going to be a certain segment of the population that wants to have the best because they want to have the best. I mean, if that wasn't true, I mean, we would not have $100,000 and $200,000 cars. We wouldn't have big boats and private planes because we have other planes which will just cost you a plane ticket. You know what I mean? People will justify what they want to have. People want to have the best. So you always want to have that option. And then there's going to be a small percentage of the population that can only afford the bottom. I'm going to tell you that you're going to have less frustration constantly trying to market to that lowest group.
You also, in one of your blogs, talks about why your team often acts not in your best interest. What do you talk about that?
So your team, I spent about 20 years in retailing and franchising. Had about 100 people reporting to me, and here's what I discovered. No matter what you have in your head as far as the way you want your customers or patients to be treated, the kind of, let's say you have, I want concierge level service. I want to create raving fans out of everyday customers. That's all in your head, Howard. But your average team member, the person who's at the front counter, their average mindset is one of, I need to protect my boss, I need to protect my employer. So if they perceive somebody's maybe trying to get away with something or something like that, their first thing is to recoil and protect the owner. When in most cases, when you get into what I call a little customer service battle of some sort or a skirmish, if your thought process is, I need to do what I need to do to turn this patient into a raving fan. First of all, to save them, keep them as a patient, but then also make them so happy that they're out telling other people about me. So that's a different mindset. That all comes from the owner, the owner of the business, the dentist, whatever. You have to not only train people how you want to create raving fans, but here's the thing most people miss. You have to empower them to do that. So everybody on my team knows that I will absolutely not get upset or anything if they do whatever they need to do to keep one of my customers happy. Because things happen. We're humans, right? So once in a while things will go bad. You fix it, you make them happy. If it costs, say, more than a couple $100, then just come ask me. But other than that, just fix it. I don't want to be the impediment or the roadblock to that thing getting fixed quickly.
And I want to be also, some people say business is business. It doesn't matter if you're selling root canals or donuts. Do you believe that?
Well, to a degree, I do. I mean, to use your example, if somebody wants to buy donuts, they can buy donuts in 7-Eleven, those powdered things, which taste like holy hell, and then they could go to Krispy Kreme and get like an amazing donut. Somebody may just want to purchase those little round powder things, but somebody might want to make the extra distance or pay more to get the best, right? So it's the same thing in a car. They want to I just need transportation. Give me a $3,000 car. I don't care if it has no heat in the winter. It's just basic transportation, and I don't want to take out a loan. Then there's going to be people for that.
I know you got to go quickly. I only got you, 7 more minutes, you said, to next?
I'm good for about 8 minutes.
Okay, 8 minutes. I want you to change gears completely. This is one of the most common questions we get.
Okay.
I graduated from school 5 years ago. I've been working for the good Dr. Jim Palmer. I'm a woman. I'm 30, and I kind of want to break out from the safety of Jim Palmer's dental office and start my own, but I'm scared.
Right.
So talk to her.
Well, that is a very common thing, and it's all fear-based, like what's going to happen. And I'll tell you this, one of the toughest roads you can ever go down is going to be becoming an entrepreneur. Because when you're an entrepreneur, it all falls on you. There is nobody that you're working for anymore. There's nobody that's going to either tell you to do something or not tell you to do something. When you become your own boss, you have the best boss and the worst boss. As I like to describe it, I've been on both sides. I've been on the dark side, and I'm now on the lighter side. I've been in the side where if I didn't want to get up and give speeches or do this, that, or the other thing, I didn't have to do it. You know why? Because nobody was holding my feet to the fire. And then I hired a coach who got my head right. And that coach said to me, Jim, what makes you think you're entitled to the same level of success as these peers that you emulate and want to be like, yet you're not willing to do the same thing they're doing? What makes you think you're entitled to that? And that was a real wake-up call for me. So in the case of somebody who says, I'd like to have my own practice, well, so would a lot of other people. Are you going to step up and do it or not? And the thing is, there are no guarantees. But there are roadmaps. Success leaves clues. Success leaves footprints, if you will. There are many people. If you want to figure out how to get from where you are to where you want to be, you go to ask somebody like yourself. You go to ask somebody who's been there and done that. There's no need to recreate the wheel. You know what I mean? So if you want to open up a good dental practice, the first thing I would do is I would make sure I'm going to tell you a really quick story, and you can apply it to dental. So it's kind of a trick question. So somebody was speaking at a conference for restaurateurs, right? And he said, if you're going to open up a restaurant and you could have one of three things, what would you have? The #1 chef in the world, the best location in the world, or the best wait staff? Which one of those would you want? Of course, one third, every pick. He goes, there's none of those. It's a trick question. If you want to guarantee your success, you want to have a starving, hungry crowd. Because a starving, hungry crowd will eat almost anything. They'll overlook occasional bad service. When you're hungry, you want to eat. So for goodness sakes, don't open a dental practice in the middle of the Dust Bowl somewhere. You want to open a dental practice where there is a good segment of the population, a good target list of patients. But then what you need to do, bootstrapping is something I don't like to do. You need to invest in yourself. So when you're figuring out the cost of opening and stocking and outfitting your practice, you better put in a good chunk of money to market, because it's going to take longer and it's going to be harder than you ever dreamed. But yet once you get the traction and you start building momentum, you can grow a dream business or a dream practice.
And which of her 6 books would you recommend reading, and where could she find them?
Well, all my books are either at Get Jim Palmer or on Amazon. I think if for that person you described, I would get my 5th book. It's called Stop Waiting for It to Get Easier. Create Your Dream Business Now. That's my way of kicking in the pants. And then the other book, which is about mindset, which is a lot of what we talked about, Howard, is Decide, the Ultimate Success Trigger. Those 2 books I think would be great for that person.
And just one last deal. How do you know if the fear of leaving the security of working for a boss, how do you know if the fear is a little birdie on your shoulder saying, dude, you can't do this, stay here? How do you know if fear is telling you the truth or is telling you a lie?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer that. You might need to go lay on the couch somewhere. But in reality, I've talked to a lot of successful people. Many of them, Howard, said, if I knew how hard it would be, I might not have started.
Were they talking about having their children, or were they talking about starting?
Yeah, right. All of that, right?
Oh my God.
If you think about it, the one thing, I'm a big fan of talking with old people, right? People older than myself. One thing I've never heard any of them say is, I've done everything. I do hear a lot of people say, I wish I did that. So what I would say, just on a human level, is you don't want to get to the end. I have this thing on my desk. Well, you can see it here. It's an hourglass. When I had cancer, I've had it 3 times actually. And I'm constantly reminded that the sand is running out of the glass. Eventually, it's going to empty. And so another expression I use is, this is not rehearsal. We are on the main stage. Eventually, the curtain will come down, whatever metaphor you want to use. But if you wait and wait and wait for things to get easier, and you get to whatever your old age looks like, and you go, doggone it. I mean, I did well. I made a nice living, but I never went and did that. I never scratched that itch. If that's really burning inside, then the fear you have might be rational fear saying, boy, I better find somebody that's done this, and I better buddy up with them, see if they'll mentor me and things like that, because I know dentistry, but I know crap about negotiating a lease. I don't know crap about marketing, and I know those are important things. I'm a good dentist, but I think I better go get help and make sure I do it right. If I'm going to do it right and take a big mortgage and do everything else, doggone it, I'm going to do it right.
So you've had melanoma 3 times?
I have.
Wow, that is awesome. You're doing great. Yeah, I say the same advice for starting in practice, having kids. There's no good time to have
Mm-mm.
1, 2, 3, or 4 kids. And I think youth and ignorance is bliss. And I say, you know what, just do it and worry about all that shit when it comes crashing in on you, and you'll rise to the occasion.
And there's also nothing wrong with going through a field of crap once in a while, because it'll add a little steel to your spine. I mean, I went through crap. I was unemployed for 15 months and I had cancer at the same time. And then I decided to start my own business because I got really broken down, Howard. Then I said, okay, the only one place to go is up. So I started a business with no money, heavily in debt. And I grew. 5 years into it, I had a multiple six-figure business, but I had over $100,000 of debt, and I still was gung-ho. And I started hiring coaches because I knew I couldn't save my way out of debt. I said, the only way I'm going to pay this debt off, because bankruptcy was not something I was comfortable doing because I did use that money. So I decided I'm going to invest even more in coaches that brought me up to the level I'm at now, and I just grew my business, and that debt just got all paid off. So you do have to invest in yourself.
Well, I agree that rock bottom is the best foundation for anyone, and I never heard anyone say my childhood was too hard or that rock bottom was too hard. That's the best place. And the best thing that you also said was success leaves clues. These people don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, how long has business been around? 15.
Business is business.
I mean, for 15,000 years, it's been leaving clues. But hey, you're the busiest man I've talked to. It just I didn't, when I asked you to be on my show, I thought there was no way, but I had nothing to lose, and you rose
Oh,
up to the
I'm
occasion.
honored, Howard. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, and
Can I say one more thing? I want to put a little
absolutely.
bow on everything we've talked about, and this is what I want the dentists who follow you to remember. You will earn significantly more revenue for who you are than what you do. You'll earn significantly more money for who you are than what you do. If you don't believe me, look at some of these doctors that are on these TV shows, and even like Dr. Phil. I guarantee there's people, no offense, Dr. Phil, I've never met him, but there's people who probably know more about psychology than Dr. Phil. There's probably some very, very, very sharp doctors who know more about, again, like Dr. Oz and those folks. And again, this is not a slight on them, but it's all about who you are. If you are the perceived expert and you market yourself correctly and aggressively, you can grow an amazingly profitable practice. Stop focusing on cleaning teeth.
And when people tell me, well, you're a dentist, that's not really a real doctor, and I say, well, you know who else is not a real doctor? Dr. Phil, Dr. Seuss, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Dre, the list is a mile long. But hey, thank you so much for your time. I think you're amazing. And if any of my homies are listening to that, you know what Nike says, just do it.
Just do it. Howard, it's been my pleasure. Thank you, sir.
It was an honor. Thanks so much for being on my show.
All right, take care.